welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in as always, and thanks for all your support, likes, subscribes, shares, discussions, all very, very much appreciated. Right, today I thought I would do a little update on projects, because anyone who watches the channel regularly will see that the camper van is gone and the Fiesta is gone. So we'll have a little chat about that, and also a little chat about what's happening with the Forester. Anyway, couple of bits of good news this week. Number one, the run 100 miles for cancer research in September, which I joined, is going great. So thank you everyone that has asked how that's going. Really enjoying that, up to 30 miles. The knees are holding up. I feel great and I'm really enjoying it. Bundles more energy, if I'm honest. Number two, Fiesta passed its MOT, which has been a massive worry, you know, just because it's a 34-year-old car and I don't like it going anywhere other than here. So that's passed its MOT, that's great. We'll talk about that some more in a minute. And number three, I got some new runners. Oh yeah, baby. That's the good news for this week. It's been a bit of one of those, up and down. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So, Fiesta. The Fiesta went about, I'm pointing here because that's where it used to be. So the Fiesta went in the garage about 5 weeks ago for pre-MOT, a really sort of scrupulous pre-MOT, to ensure that it was absolutely perfumundo before it went for its actual MOT. Anyway, I got a text from the garage this week after about a month saying, good news, it is mechanically sound and just needed a bit of welding, a few patches underneath the driver's side sill. So they've stripped back all the wax oil, done the welding, any welding necessary, and then re-wax oiled it, taken it for an MOT, and it's passed with flying colours. Happy days. And when I dropped it off 5 weeks ago, I also, on the way back on the train, I treated the Fiesta to a Pro Alloy radiator, fast road, satin silver, and a Pro Alloy double capacity intercooler, matching components, clipped together, utilised the OEM points on the Ford, and oh, it cost an enormous amount of money. And believe it or not, 5 weeks later, it only just arrived yesterday. So I did an unboxing of that this morning, which we will cut to now, and you can have a little look at the unboxing, the welds, which are just heaven. So for anyone that watches the channel that's interested in Mark III Fiesta, what's the Pro Alloy radiator all about? Why are they so good? Why is it so expensive? Well, you can have a little look at the unboxing. And I dropped it off today, plopped it in the back of the Foz, took it down to my friend's garage. So that's with the mechanics now, and they're fitting that over the next couple of weeks and doing another repair on the Fiesta. Let me just cut to the unboxing. So I've received the Pro Alloy radiator and increased capacity intercooler for the Fiesta, and I'm about to head off this morning and deliver this to the garage, who are fitting the parts. So I thought I'd better do a quick unboxing and overview for any of my viewers that are interested in Fiesta developments and or getting one of these for their own Fiesta. So let's have a quick look. It took forever to arrive. Handmade, apparently. Not to order, but they had none in stock. So when I ordered, I was the first in line for the next batch. So you get a nice Pro Alloy rad hose, nice new clips. Actually, maybe that's not the rad hose. Maybe that was the intercooler hose. Let's see if we can grab one of these out. I don't want to get pieces everywhere because the Dachshunds will munch them. So just grabbing them bits as I drop them. Thank the Lord they sent the right one. Fiesta Turbo alloy fast road radiator in satin silver. Right, I'll get that cut out of the packaging and we'll have a look. So as expected, for the money, it is a work of art. Look at those welds. Wonderful. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All the fins are perfectamundo. The construction looks wonderful. The welds, absolutely fabulous. Just get it turned over. I've tried to unpack it with a view to that I need to get it all back in exactly the same or as close as possible fashion, so that I can get it straight in the boot with the Foz and then down to the garage where the Fiesta is to get this fitted along with the intercooler. So all looks good, fits up exactly using the same, well, it fits up exactly the same as the OEM one apparently. Same hose positions, same bracket positions, etc, etc. Slightly higher volume, therefore hopefully better cooling efficiency, which has always been the Fiesta's Achilles heel, if you like, Achilles tendon, because it's always run hot. Anyway, we can go into that in more detail when I do a little overview about the work that's getting done on the Fiesta. So we'll just look at the intercooler as well. So the intercooler, as expected, is also a work of art, emblazoned with the Pro Alloy logo on the top. Fabulous welds, all wonderful. Fins look great, construction looks great. And so this is the extra high capacity Fiesta Turbo intercooler. Reason for this, I'm not running high boost or anything like that, or planning to run a higher boost. It's purely because it provides cooler air for the turbo, which I've read provides a healthier running condition for the turbo, and also it matches and it looks lovely, so the front end will look nice and it connects up with the rad perfectly. So I'll get all them packed up, get them in the boot with the Foz, get them delivered down to the workshop where they're being fitted, and then I'll make a follow-up video when they're all fitted. Happy days. So just to also recap, there's another issue that the previous garage introduced with the Fiesta, where the turbo was mounted to the turbo inlet manifold on the exhaust side. They had removed that because I think they thought there was a blow or something, or it was all coming apart anyway for various other mods and sods, and they were adamant that it needed a new gasket. Couldn't find a gasket anywhere. I spent weeks looking for one, and finally went to the Fiesta Turbo Owners Forum on Facebook, and they said they don't have a gasket. It was too late. The garage had already fabricated their own redonkulous gasket that didn't really look like it was designed for the job. Now there's something wrong with the air metering on the Fiesta, so whilst it's 98% perfectamundo, it's only seeing 4 psi boost, should be about 7. Anyway, so we think there's some kind of metering issue, so we got all new hose clips for coolant, not related, all new hose clips for boost, obviously related, and we're getting the turbo off the manifold again, facing both the surfaces, making a good connection, bolting it all up, test drive, hopefully everything's happy days. So that is it for the Fiesta. When the Fiesta comes back, number one job, obviously, get it on the channel, give it a valet, and we'll have a look around it. Because I had planned last year to do like a part 1, part 2, part 3 onwards, ongoing Fiesta discussion about its life, because I've had it for 30 years. So I've had a lot of work on it in those years. Anyway, but first things first, we're going to get it in, get it valeted, have a look around it, get her out, probably do a POV and have a little blast about. Happy days. Then number 2 tasks, or most urgent 2 tasks, are get the old Clifford taken off. That's been on there 25 years, nothing wrong with it, but just for my own sanity and ongoing reliability reasons, I'm going to get the old Clifford taken off and get a modern alarm put on, probably another Clifford, because I've always been really pleased with it, and one with IntelliStart. So it can sit here. I'm going to put rubberized mats down on this area and then get one of those Clark temporary garages, and I'm going to put 2 greenhouse heaters in and a blower and a trickle charger, set up some kind of smart plug timing system and a thermostat so that I can control the heating, the blower on and off in increments, and also charge the car. And I'll put a security camera in as well, so that I've got security, and put some security anchors around it, so that it's happy days and I can start the car from indoors, monitor it on the camera, check the temperature, all that kind of stuff, all good. So it'll get in air under it regularly, some draft obviously from the canvas temporary type garage, but also getting run regularly, getting charged regularly, everything, happy days. Also I can pull it out, valet it, put it back in, I can do little projects in the tent, make videos in the tent, all good. Store some of the valeting stuff. And oh, the other thing, second task for Fiesta, once the FOS has been painted, which is October, once the FOS has been painted, assuming I'm happy with all the services and the end result of the FOS, I'm going to use the same people to do the paint on the Fiesta. So that just needs, it's got a little bit of rock around the sunroof, a little bit on the boot lid, and a little bit on the scuttle. Doesn't need for much at all. So I'm hoping, you know, £1,000, £2,000, get that back to perfection, get her squirreled away. Then next year, 1 part, 2 part, 3 part, 4 part, 5 part Fiesta Burble. That's a good name for it. A little bit of a Fiesta waffle. Then we'll start getting it to some car shows. So that's it on the Fiesta. Number 2, a campervan. So the campervan went in for MOT early spring, and ironically, at the time, we'd been going through the process with a DVLA applying for Vehicle of Historic Interest certification, because it had just turned 40 years old last September. So we're going through that process, but I was still going to take it for MOTs just so that we knew it was roadworthy. I'd take my family in it, etc., etc. And for its history moving forward, we'd always get an MOT. But save 38 quid a month, I think it is, for tax. Anyway, it failed its MOT on a couple of little bits. I think a little bit of rot around about that area, maybe brakes, can't really remember the other elements, but yeah, it needed a little bit of work. And I said to the mechanic, we have a mechanic about 20 miles away, he's a T25 expert, he only works on T25s, but long story short, he'd had some bad health over the last 5 years, eyesight troubles of all things, so he was on work, off work, on work, off work, and we could never tie him down for working on the campervan. Anyway, a couple of years ago, he had a terrible accident, falling off a ladder, and when I last spoke to him, you know, a couple of years ago, and said, oh, can you do a few bits on the van? He said, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to walk again. Anyway, this year, he's better, he's working, his eyes are working, he's doing stuff. So we said, look, while you're okay, there's no pressure, no rush. If you need deposit or ongoing cash to keep the project moving on, just say, it's a money, no object, strip the van to nothing, back to the nearest part of good metal you can, get new panels, new wings, new quarters, whatever it needs, plating, welding, etc., etc., and we'll have a splash of paint and a new roof. So we're looking at 8 to 10k probably on the van, and hopefully when it comes back next year, I mean, it seems a lot to spend on it, but it needs for nothing. Engine great, brakes great, habitation side all done. We'd spent thousands on that side of things. It was just the bodywork and the roof letting it down. So we're getting them done, and then next year hopefully come back about spring, treat it to a new awning, and then hopefully my missus, my daughter, all the dogs, bosh, in the van and off somewhere quiet and remote and tranquil for a week, and that'll be wonderful. And then FOS. As I was talking in one of my videos from last weekend about, I think I was doing the review about the aerospats, and someone asked, oh, this is exciting, what are you doing? What's getting done? Are you having welding? Are you having anything done to the engine? What parts are getting done? What are you going to use as a daily driver? So I thought, do you know what? This is a great opportunity to make a project update video. And I should have said at the start of the video, at the end of the day, all the cars are projects. Fiesta's 34 years old, van is 40 years old, FOS, it pains me to say, is now 17 years old. My trusty, highly dependable, yet amazingly good fun Subaru. So she is going in for full paint. No expense spared, everything. Come on. Full expense spared, paint, everything. So we've got new quarter panels starting from sill all the way around, arch, probably about this high up to about here on this side. And the same on the worst side. I mean, the body shop did go round it and they said they're not too bad, but nonetheless, I've got a panel that replaces from there down to here, probably through the petrol cap. It started to go inside and then down to the sill. So we've got 2 new panels either side on here. We've got aerospats going on every corner, and we're having paint absolutely everywhere except the doors, because believe it or not, somehow or other the doors are perfect. Other than that, it's having paint everywhere, every element you can see. We've got a new copy, I think it's HD tuning splitter, Forester SG9 specific, with the STI logo in the middle as per OEM look. As I say, aerospats all round. I've got Subaru OEM rain guards going on. I had thought about doing a fitting video for them, but I thought, do you know what, it's going in for paint soon. I'll let them do the rain guards at the same time. And we've also got, if we can have a look up here, I've got a new cap for the missing cap on the spoiler, and new packing gaskets, new bolt inside and outside, etc., etc., to resolve the spoiler woes. I had thought about getting new mud flaps, but I think because of my obsession with cleaning, I am going to Surfex HD the living daylights out of these, scrub them to death, get any previous coatings off so that they've got a good adherent surface, and then get new stickers, probably rub down the brackets, put new bolts in, and then get new stickers, get them applied, leave them 24 hours to cure, and then start getting pearl or dark side or both on those, just to re-impregnate the rubber. I'll step back a bit. So on again. And whilst it's in, obviously we'll be having a new STI logo on the front, a new STI logo on the back, a new Subaru logo on the back, and a new Subaru logo on the front. And also the garage, the body shop did ask about the grille, what we're going to do about it. Well, I don't really want to spend £300–400 on a new one, so I'm probably going to Surfex HD this, scrub everywhere, touchless, see if we can get as much as this dirt out as humanly possible, and then pearl that. The body shop thought about painting it, but I'm not really into that. And they're also going to do the headlights again and put a top coat on, UV protector, etc., etc. So when this comes back, we're looking at 5.5 to 6k when it comes back. Perfamundo, everything done. I cannot wait. And if I'm able to find a half reasonable, half fun little daily runner, I will do that. I had planned to use the van throughout the summer while this was being done. That is out of my hands now. I'm never going to use the Fiesta as a daily driver because it's my little baby. It's only done 200 miles a year every year for the last 20 years, and that's not going to happen. So I'm probably going to try and find some kind of little burner car for about 3–4 grand that I'm just going to use as my daily driver, work 3 days a week in the office, and picking up my daughter once a fortnight, picking her up and dropping her off about 400, probably 200–300 mile round trip. So it has to be reliable and dependable. So with that in mind, we'll talk more about the little burner car in a minute, but with that in mind, once the Foz is back from paint, I'm hoping to get it down to Triton Motorsport to have a mild underneath refresh. So that is zipping back any previous coatings, wax oil, lanyard guard, etc., etc., over a zip wheel, and then removing all the bolts, cleaning all the bolts, and any welding that's necessary. Trust me, it doesn't need welding. Everything's been lanyard guarded twice a year in the last, every for the last 6 years I've owned it, and the underneath's good. But reset, under seal, probably Lanagard as well. And in terms of engine, we're looking at a health check, dyno, rolling road, test, see how everything's getting on, see how we're doing, see what the engine's health's like. If it needs anything, we're then going to look at, are we having forged pistons? Does it need oversized pistons because it's done 155,000 miles? Or should we go the whole hog and fit an EJ257 lump, which is still available from Subaru, on a crate, brand spanking new, short block, new pistons, happily tunable to 350 brake as a daily driver, and that will be wonderful. So they're my sort of three options. It's either everything's fine and we carry on as we are, or everything's fine, maybe you should have Cosworth head gaskets and ARP studs, or why not forge it at the same time, or the most extreme one, and obviously the most expensive one, EJ257, wicked. One other thing to mention I almost forgot about, which is really exciting for me. Ever since I've had this car, I've always wanted the 3-gauge pod in the middle cubby. But I was very, very particular. I didn't want a pod that you plopped on and it's like a box and you couldn't see your clock, or you didn't have your button, or your cubby went. So I found a company in America called BNA Solutions on Facebook. I've been trying to get in touch with him for probably 12 or 18 months. He only does work very sporadically, but he makes a custom lid using the actual lid with 3 60mm STI genome specific pod apertures in the top. And I also managed to, so that'll be with me in about 2 months, I think. And I also secured from America 3 60mm absolutely pristine perfection STI genome Defi gauges. So oil pressure, oil temperature and water temperature. Cannot wait. I've already got boost gauge. I'm probably going to get an AFR gauge so that my boost gauge on the steering wheel shroud and an AFR either side, so it's kind of nice and symmetrical, and then the pod mounted on the top. And I've also bought the 5-button upgraded controller, so that'll be nice, just to bring everything into modernness. So well, a little bit more modern than the 4-button one that's in there, so hopefully more reliable and will last for the duration. Anyway, why am I spending so much money on it? I'm probably looking at 15k, but I spoke to my partner about it and I was sort of saying, if I spent 15k on another one, I've got to go around doing Meister R's and brake upgrades and exhaust upgrades and engine health checks, doing the hi-fi, all the little bits and all the white line gear that you don't see on this car, because it's kind of, the majority of my mods have been underneath, out of sight. So, and if you buy another 14 grand one, you get someone else's problems. With this, I know I've done everything. And even if I had 15 grand to spend on a car, there's nothing I want that sets my soul on fire, shall we say, like this, or excites me. So even if I didn't have this, or if anything went wrong with it, I'd just buy another one. So nothing's wrong with it. It's perfectamundo. It's running wonderfully at the minute. So that's the decision. Spend the 15k on it and enjoy this for another 5 years. I mean, I often think, what would I do if I didn't have this to put on the channel? And buy another Subaru. And one last thing, you will know from the channel, I've discussed many times the Brembos and my woes with Brembos, and I did recently manage to source a pair of fronts, like a spare donor pair, really expensive, but they're going to go off to BCS caliper refurbishment company, and they're going to get refurbished. I'll probably get the backs done at the same time, or probably most likely try and find another pair of backs so that we can keep the car running whilst my new donor pair are off getting refurbed. Then we'll swap them over, get these off, get these refurbed. I'll wrap these up in tissue for the day where I need them, or someone else wants them, or I sell them, who knows. But a refurbished set of 4 on eBay at the minute are 2,600 quid, which is crazy. Anyway, that, just racking my brains very quickly, I want to say to my daughter, who's filming today, yippee, I wanted to say to my daughter, what was the things I said I mustn't forget? And I think that's everything. Sorry for that slight hiccup. We had a camera malfunction or interference. Anyway, so that is it. That is Rev You's project update for what's happening with the cars, where they are, what's going on with the Fiesta, what's going on with the van, and what's happening next with the Forester. So yeah, little burner car. So, you know, I'm only looking at things that are 20 years old, a little bit quirky, a little bit different, potentially a little bit of fun, but above all, because this is like nearly £700 a year to tax and eats V-Power like it's going out of fashion. So I'm going to get something cheap to bumble about in from now until spring, so that I can get focused on getting this done to where I want it to be. And then when it hits the channel again, it's all done. I've got bundles more things to talk about, and it's happy days. Anyway, just looking around to make sure there's nothing else I meant to say. Anyway, that is it for that one. I hope you found that interesting. Hope you find that enjoyable, and hope you'll look forward to the future content. And I will say, obviously, another reason I've got to have a car, I've got to have something to valet. What am I going to do to test products on? You know, I'm going to be autumn cleaning, autumn valeting, autumn detailing. Happy days. Cannot wait. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. As always, don't forget, if you're enjoying the content, please hit that like button. It really, really helps the channel, and it helps the YouTube algorithm promote my content more and more and more. A subscribe would be wonderful, but not essential. And thanks ever so much. I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.